What's up guys, Mike with TechPB, and this video is going to be one of a few that we're going to be doing leading up to Living Legends 7, which is May 16th through the 18th, and the event is located at CPX Sports. I know a lot of people, there's people all over the world, people just getting into paintball, they don't understand Living Legends, why people love that game so much. So we're going to be doing a video series going into the Living Legends event, which as of the day of this recording is just a little more than a month away. When is it? May 16th through the 18th. They start on that Friday night, and if you've never seen CPX, they've got the really nice town, and it's a really neat, like a city that you can play in, and you can see there's lots of videos on it on CPX. They've got like a pump and pistol play that night, so if you got a pistol or a pump gun, or I think maybe even mag fed, you can go and play in the city Friday night. It's really fun to get people warmed up. The game starts on Saturday at noon. Usually in the mornings everybody's getting ready. There's about a 1 hour safety briefing. Game starts at noon. Viper games always start on time, and then it goes from Saturday from about 12 to 8. And then on Sunday, this catches a lot of people off guard. It starts at 9 in the morning, not noon like on Saturday. It starts at 9 in the morning, goes usually till about 2. So then about 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, they announce the score. They do some raffles, some giveaways, thank the sponsors. Everybody packs up, goes home. It's a great time. Probably one of the most fun events that you will ever play in paintball. I would trade an entire PSP season to go play Living Legends. It's really that much fun. It's about 50% competition, about 50% party. You got friends on both sides. The field is just a blast to play on. It's so dynamic in that about every 50-60 yards you go, the field completely changes. You could be you could be playing in the cities, and then all of a sudden you get into like super thick woods, and then you're playing on a ravine, and then you're like fighting up and down a road. So, or you could be like in a junkyard with a bunch of cars. It really, CPX has got, I don't even know how many fields, 15, 20 different fields, and there's so many props out there and stuff, so it's a blast in just how dynamic it is. It's not like, some fields where it's just woods from one end to the other. I mean, CPX is a really dynamic field, and that's what really makes it fun when you go out there and play. I've been playing it since Living Legends 2. That was my first one. We're now on 7, so I played 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 years. This is going to be my 6th year playing it. I'm really excited. I've hung up a couple awards back here from some of the games. This is probably my most coveted award. This is from Living Legends 3 MVP award. That was the year that me, Willie, all the guys from TechPB, we had about 400 players at that event. It was probably the most intense Living Legends that has ever been played, in my opinion, was Living Legends 3. I'm hoping that Living Legends 7 is going to be just as intense as Living Legends 3. If it is, everybody's going to go home flat broke, shot up, and exhausted, which is going to be awesome. But that's the MVP I got from Living Legends 3. That is probably one of the most coveted awards I've ever gotten in paintball. That one holds really dear to my heart for a number of different reasons. I'm generaling the new Empire, if you haven't heard already. You got two sides. You've got Horde, which is red, blue, which is New Empire. I'm generaling the New Empire side. My friend Kevin, Buckshot, leader of the Hellions, who I've played with many, many times, is generaling the other side. Along with Hanu, who was the general, my general at Living Legends 3, is the commander of one of the divisions on the Horde side. So he knows all my secrets. I know all his secrets. It's going to be an awesome thing. They got all the CPX teams on one time. It's going to be like CPX versus the world. This event's going to be badass. But I'm going to be doing a couple videos leading here. One as a recruiting video. If you're going to sign up for Living Legends, you go to livinglegendsofpaintball.com. I'd like to sign up for New Empire. Come play for us. We're going to have a really good time. I've got some really cool things in regards to generaling and some tips and tactics and stuff that are going to be over there, be getting everybody involved. So this is a recruiting video for New Empire. Sign up for New Empire if you haven't. If you're undecided what team you want to sign up for. I've got a pretty good track record. A lot of people try to go into generaling games. They just kind of look at it like a glorified traffic cop. You go there, or whatever. I really try to take generaling very seriously in regards to, I try to get everybody involved. I try to make sure everybody understands what's going on. I've played a lot of scenario games where you've had 2 or 3 cherry-picked teams that knew what was going on, and everyone else was just playing an expensive weekend of woods ball. I don't like to do that at all. I like to try to get everybody involved, from all the way from my rentals to my hardcore season scenario teams. And I think anybody that's played with me, against me, or has seen me as a general, I think sees me like that. I try to really get everybody involved. And I understand a lot of people just go there just to play woods ball. If that's the case, that's just fine, you know. Like Sonny Lopez, I love the guy to death. You can't get that guy to run a mission if you paid him. He just likes to go out and do his thing, you know. Every time I try to get him on a mission, he doesn't want to do it. But that's okay. And there are a lot of people that are like that, you know. But at least I give them the opportunity, and at least I tell them, well, this is what's going on. You can choose to participate in it, or you can choose not to. But better not bitch at me if we lose the game, because, you know, in scenario, you got to accomplish objectives in order to make points. But so most formidable opponent, Sean Scott gave that to me as his opposing general at Canadian Carnage 2. Victorious Commander, 1 Canadian Carnage 2, 1 Canadian Carnage 1. Most valuable team, we just won the Halo event. Just a couple months ago, I played the Clowns vs. Zombies. General that game, killed ourselves. Me, my boy Sam Kandari, Dragon Tozen, they were my 2 XOs. And as generals, we shot 15 cases of paint as generals, you know, to try. That game was that intense, and we didn't win. It was the first time in the 3 years they've done that event that the Zombies have won the event. The Clowns won. It was Clowns vs. Zombies. Clowns won it the last 2 years. The first year that the Zombies had won it. And it was also the first time a team ever breached Nuketown, which is the field from Call of Duty. So it was the first time anyone's ever done that in a big game. So I was so proud of my players that day. That was just absolutely insane. And we did it in 30 minutes, not an hour, which they usually give them. So you know, I think anybody that played with or against me at that event, you know, saw how I general. I'm pretty intense when I general. I like to get everybody involved. I like to push everybody. And if you don't want to do it, just sit tight, because I'll go get my gun and I'll go do it. So I'll never ask anybody to go do something that I don't do. Anyway, I'm going to probably do that spiel before just about every single one of these videos. But let's talk about footwear. For not just for paintball in general, but I'll go in a little bit into it, but also for Living Legends. Living Legends, you know, a lot of people are going to make the mistake of going out there and trying to use soccer cleats, okay? And I've got my soccer cleats here. This is what I just played the PSP Dallas with. And the problem with that is if you ever find yourself in the city or, you know, walking around in the pits, there's a lot of smooth concrete at CPX. And because you're going to be on the roads, and you also might be playing in the city, and you're also going to be walking around in the pits, I would not recommend cleats like soccer cleats for Living Legends. I think it's just a bad idea. There's just too much soft, smooth, slick concrete to wear those. I think it's a really bad idea. Now, what are those cleats really good for? If you're playing a lot of, obviously, PSP, X-Ball, MPPL, Race, whatever it's called nowadays, you know, cleats that are going to dig in through all that mush, that's going to work really well for that. But for Living Legends, I would not recommend soccer cleats for Living Legends. It's just not, there's too much rocks. There's a lot of rocks out there that these slip on because they're hard plastic, and it's not a good idea for Living Legends. Unfortunately, I left my HK cleats in my golf bag, but I have my Exalt cleats, which are pretty close, you know, which are kind of in the same ballpark as the HK cleats. These you might be getting a little bit better because they've got these soft rubber removable cleats. I do like my Exalt cleats. They fit pretty close to on size. I'm a size 13. These fit size 13. My HK cleats, I had to actually go up to a size 14. I've never worn a 14 in my life, but the 14 and HK cleats fit me amazing. So you know, the HK cleats, I would probably go with the HK cleats for Living Legends. I think that's a good cleat. It's not super hard plastic, and the HK cleat I think would work pretty well for Living Legends as long as you're not in the city a lot. Exalt cleats the same thing. You know, you've got some softer rubber here, but you know, Exalt cleats work great for PSP. I wouldn't wear HK cleats for PSP just because they don't dig in deep enough. The Exalt cleats, you can remove them and you can put linebackers studs in here. It also comes with some studs that go down a little bit, but I would probably, you know, Exalt for PSP, HK more for rec ball. HK cleats will work pretty well for Living Legends. Let's talk about basic sneakers. 2 years ago when you saw me do the attempt, I called it, where I went over the hill, which will probably never be attempted again. It was in a dinner battle on Saturday at Living Legends 5. I went over the hill. You'll never see that. That's never going to be allowed. You'll never see anybody do that again, because, you know, one of the things when I'm a player is I try to look for those little advantages and little you know, measurements to see if I can get an advantage somehow. And I had that measure to the T, realizing I had about a 60-foot head start on everybody on the other team. And there's no way Viper, Sean Scott, or Paul are going to allow that to happen ever again. They're going to back everybody up on that side to make sure it's even to the middle of the hill. So that's the one and only time you are ever going to ever see somebody go over the hill during a final or a dinner battle. It's just not going to happen. These shoes right here, these are Vibram shoes. This is like a pair that they were green and they wore out a little bit, but this is basically what I wore. These are Merrell, basically road shoes with the Vibram soles, basically like that zero drop shoes. This is what I wore to get over the hill. I love these for if you're staying on the concrete a lot because they're very lightweight, a lot of traction on concrete, and you can just book with them. It just feels like you're wearing water socks, which is great. These are basic sneakers. You could get away with basic sneakers at Living Legends as long as you don't mind that they're going to be really dirty, really muddy, and they're probably going to fall apart after the event because the paint just gets into the glue and it just blows the sneakers apart. So if you got an old pair of sneakers, I would recommend that. Those are great for all the different surfaces that you're going to be walking on, from the deep thick woods that's in the middle to the soft or to the smooth slick concrete that's going to be in the city, and also down into the ravine getting up and down the rocks. You can get away with basic sneakers. You're not going to be doing a lot of sprinting during CPX. You might be doing a little jogging here and there, but not too much in regards to sprinting. Probably my favorite pair of shoes to have for Living Legends specifically is going to be the trail runners. Okay, there's quite a few companies out there that make trail runners. I usually get the Asics because I can get them for about 35-40 bucks. Where trail runners differ from sneakers is that the tread pattern generally is a lot more aggressive. It's not cleats like this, but the tread pattern is a lot more aggressive on the bottom, which really helps get up and down dirt, in the ravines and stuff like that. And it gives you traction on grass. It gives you traction on slick concrete. It gives you traction getting up and over the hill. The trail runners seem to be, in my opinion, one of the best types of shoes to wear for Living Legends. Every year that I've worn trail runners, my feet have felt great. I haven't had any instances where I was slipping. It felt great when I was running on the roads. It felt great when I was down in the ravine. It felt great in the middle, and it felt great over on the city. And those are the three major fronts. The ravine typically has a lot of rocks. Here in Florida, it's kind of like coral, but it's got a lot of big, slick rocks. It's just a lot of rocks to walk up and down the hill with, and sometimes those can get kind of slick. Middle woods is generally very flat. Just a lot of brush and dirt and trails, and on the city side it's very slick with slick concrete, and then you've got the big road that goes around the middle with the racetrack. So the trail runners, for my experience at Living Legends, have been consistently the best shoe for me. Me being 6'4", 240 pounds, that's what trail runners tend to work the best. Last but not least, we're going to talk about combat boots. Okay. Now, combat boots, they offer a great amount of protection, but you're going to sacrifice performance because they're generally a lot heavier. They're a lot bulkier, and that's what you have to take into consideration. Now, if you're maybe a slightly heavier guy, like I can talk, motherfuckers love pizza and beer, and so do I. So, I'm not a six-pack ab toothpick by any stretch of the imagination, but the one thing I'll tell you about combat boots is if you're a bigger guy or a bigger girl and you want to make sure that you don't risk rolling an ankle or something, you really need to make sure that your feet are just locked into your legs to support your body weight. Combat boots are going to be the way to go. These go up a little bit higher, so they're going to surround your ankle, so it's going to be, you're going to be much less likely to roll your ankle. You're going to have much better foot support. The only thing is you're just not going to be able to run as fast in them. So that's the one thing I would say about combat boots. This is definitely the safest way to go. If you've got weak ankles or you've sprained your ankles, you've got ankle problems, the combat boots are going to be the way to go. These are Magnums. There's quite a few different, there's a 511, Rothco. There's quite a few different companies that make combat boots. And, and if you really truly want to have the safest weekend of play, Living Legends, I would say combat boots are going to be the way to go. You're going to sacrifice a little bit of performance. They're not going to be as fast, and they're going to be a little heavier on your feet, but that's going to be the way to go. But the number one most important tip I'm going to tell you with combat boots is one, make sure that you get yourself a good quality insole. Okay, you've got Dr. Scholl's, you've got there's a few other types of insoles. I might even have them in here. I don't see them, but you've got Dr. Scholl's insoles. There's quite a few insoles that you can put inside here. Like, let me see what I got here. These are just Dr. Scholl's insoles, but the one big thing I'll tell you, make sure you've got good insoles in them, because a lot of times these boots don't come with very good insoles. They've got great soles on the bottom and great protection all the way around them, but the insoles generally are junk. So replace those. But the second thing is make sure that you break these things in. You do not want to be breaking in fresh combat boots at Living Legends. Your feet are going to hate you. Okay, so you want to make sure that if you're getting them now or you're getting them before the event, that you break them in slowly. Okay, maybe go and do a light jog, maybe about a half mile around your in your neighborhood with them. Let them set a little bit, let that sweat get up into them and kind of mold the leather a little bit. Another thing I've heard some people do is they put on 2 pairs of socks, put them into your boots, run a hairdryer on them, so it kind of softens up the leather and the rubber and everything to kind of help it mold to your foot a little bit better. Some people have had good results with that, but the most important thing I'll tell you is definitely make sure that by the time the event comes around that your boots are soft, that they're broken into your feet, and that you've worn them. And I'd say at a minimum probably should have at least jogged between 1 to 3 miles in those boots minimum before the event. You do not want to get blisters out there. You don't want to get trench foot or whatever else they call it, blisters, ripped up heels, stuff like that. If there's any time to catch any sort of issues with your boots, it's going to be before the event, not during the event. But definitely the safest way to go would be combat boots. If you're comfortable with your strength in regards to your ankles and stuff like that, you've got some experience, climbing up and down uneven surfaces and stuff like that, I think the trail runners is the way to go. I love the trail runners. I've had great experience with the trail runners. I wouldn't be a combat boot person just because for me, I like to run really fast and stuff like that, and combat boots are just a little too heavy for my particular style of play. Everybody's completely different. So hopefully that helps you narrow down your choices. I would say definitely a no would be hard soccer cleats. That's that's a very, very bad idea for Living Legends. I would go with sneakers before I went with hard soccer cleats for Living Legends. So if you haven't signed up yet, Living Legends Paintball, if you're unsure of what team to choose, join me on the new Empire. I'd love to be your general for Living Legends 7. We're going to have a great time. Thank you.